name is TK Hlongwane. Thank you so much for stopping by once again. If you are new, welcome to TK Hlongwane's YouTube channel. We speak all things beauty and wellness, and today we are going to touch on the wellness aspect of this channel, and I hope you will like this kind of conversation that we're going to have today, and I really would like to hear your opinion about it. So let's get into it. All right, babe, so as you've seen by the title of this YouTube video, I titled it, I do not want to have children, or I don't want to have children, right? Great stuff. I know it's a very touchy topic. It's very sensitive. You know, we all have our own opinions, and it can also be slightly controversial. Well, first of all, I wanted to let you know that I've already written a piece about this topic. I don't want children on my blog. I have a blog on WordPress. It is called TK the Speaker. I will leave a link in the comments so that you guys can read about it. So doesn't mean that if you watch this video you don't have to go read, because obviously how I deliver the message is very different when it's written versus when I speak, because when I speak it's very impromptu and whatever comes to mind I talk about it, whereas when I am writing, obviously there's a lot of thought. I'll go back and change a few things, whatever. So the reason I've made this video, first of all, let me do this. Let me put out a disclaimer. Yes, I do not want children. However, I did want to have children before. Okay, so it's not because I never wanted children from the word go, you know, and I know there's people who are like that, who've never wanted children. I've got a friend like that, never wanted children, who never wanted to get married. And where for me, it's something that I've decided on in the last 2 years since I separated from my husband. Okay, so the reason I don't want children is so many things, right? And we're gonna go into that, but I wanted you guys to be aware of that it's something that has changed. And it was actually for me to talk about this conversation or this topic was prompted by the other sit down that I did with you guys when I spoke about lessons learned in my 20s and 30s, when I said you know, I've learned that you can change your mind. If something no longer works for you, it's no longer part of, you know, your journey or whatever, you can drop it and change your mind and go for something else. And I remembered that, you know, children and marriage is some of the things that I have changed my mind on. But today I will only talk about not wanting to have children. So as I've said before, I did want it when I was married. Even prior to that, you know, I had a desire to have children. I love children. I wanted to have a mini-me. And, you know, I think I connect very well with children in different ages, you know, from once I start talking pre-talk, like I'm not fascinated about babies, but, you know, from your 2-year-olds and above until your teens, I really, really enjoy them. And I think that I connect very well with them. Okay, don't tell your teens that I'm saying they're children. I don't think they're like that. But I feel like anyone who is pre-young adult, I'm pretty good with them, you know. So the love has always been there, because when you say you don't want children, people think you don't like being around children. That's the last thing, actually. In my complex, there's a lot of young families. So there's always kids running around. You know, I love listening to that conversation, hearing them laugh and everything like that. I mean, even when I was married, you know, hearing the kids in the other room, my ex-husband's children talking and laughing used to warm my heart so much, because I do feel like a home with children is pretty awesome. Having said all of that, I did change my mind, okay, for many, many reasons, and I'll touch a bit on those just now. Back to also where wanting to have children before is that the struggle of, you know, when I had fibroids. If you guys know my first 2 videos, I spoke about fibroids. I've written about them in detail as well. If you want to check that out, you'll see the link below. You know, trying every month, there's nothing painful like wanting to fall pregnant and then not able to fall pregnant. Because you've got fibroids or any other issue and everything. And people usually keep trying. They make it sound like it's such an easy thing, and it doesn't drain you emotionally, mentally, physically, and all of that kind of stuff. So I know people are as soon as you say you had challenges in the past, they say, oh, keep trying. They want to tell you about a story of somebody who tried for 20 years. No, don't do that. That's annoying. Don't do that and everything like that. But I know, haven't gone through that. I do not want to go through that again, you know, and having to try, even though my gynecologist has given me the go ahead and the clear that I can do that. I'm just thinking, no, the way my life is set up right now, it is so amazing. I don't see myself, like I live by myself, I decide in the morning what I want to do, where I want to go, like I always say, it's what I do is more based on my mood and if I can afford it than if I have to take children somewhere, or if I need to consider, a partner or children and everything like that. So the freedom that comes with not having children is just something that I'm really enjoying, and I'm going to enjoy it for as long as God grants me time here on earth, because it's really, really something I enjoy so much. The freedom, it's wonderful being able to decide for myself what I want to do and everything like that. But I also believe that the next years in my life, there's going to be some changes, right? And I want to be open to whatever changes may come up. Do I move to a different city? Do I move to a different country? Do I change my job that will require me not to be a hands-on parent or whatever? What if that happens? I don't want to have to consider other people before I do this thing that I want to do, So those are some of the reasons that I feel like, my life right now is set up in a way that I really, really enjoy, But also I realize that my reasons for wanting children may have been very ego-driven, right? I mean, I'm a cute hand, imagine what would come through, my womb. A very cute hand, depending on the father. But I think my genes are strong enough that, I'll create something cute. And that's not good enough. I'm somebody who is pretty principled, and I'm a teacher, so I know if I wanted to have children, I would want to instill these things in them, and and all of that kind of stuff. And I know children have a mind of their own. It will frustrate me if they don't do, this thing that I thought I want them to do. Or me also being a very free-spirited person at the same time, I was probably gonna get a lot of flack from other parents because of how I would have raised my kids, because I am quite flexible at the same time. So it was gonna be a tricky situation. Now that I look at it, I'm like, oh, how would we have handled it? I speak to a lot of parents. Well, they speak to me just naturally, friends, family, talking about their children and the hard time they're having, whether it's raising them, seeing them develop and having these personalities, the demands, the time they don't have for themselves, and all of that kind of stuff. And I look at it, I'm like, actually, this was not going to work for me. At the time when I wanted it, obviously it was going to work. I had the support of a husband who was a good father, therefore it would have worked, right? However, looking at right now, I realize that it's not really something that I would have wanted to have, because it just takes so much of your time, and I want to spend my time doing other things. For instance, some of you may know that I have recently started swimming lessons. I'm up by 6 o'clock every Saturday. I have to be in my swimming class by 7 o'clock. Imagine with a child, I'd have to consider that, or they would have their own extramural activities, and you would be competing for things to do, and everything like that. And I'm just like, even after these swimming lessons, I'm going to add something else, a new skill that I like to learn, that's going to take my time. And I want to be able to do all of that without having to worry about, a child, a husband, or anything of that sort. The other thing that makes me realize that, as much as I would, kids are amazing and everything, they are expensive. I am doing my best to look after myself as a 40-year-old, and it's not easy, financially. Imagine now adding another human being to the mix. I just think, and I know being myself, I would want to give them the best, just like any other parent out there. And I just don't know how that would work out. I understand faith and all of that, but there's still a lot of soft things that I have not granted myself now to be able to do that. And even right now, I love being able to spoil the people around me with whatever I have, to now go and fetch someone to spoil. I'm not ready for all of that. It's going to be a lot, you know what I'm saying? So financially, I definitely don't think it's a good thing for me. The last thing is emotionally, those who know me, I may be able to come on camera and be very comfortable on camera. And in social settings, some people have seen that I'm good with people. You know what I'm saying? I'm an introvert, but when it comes to certain social aspects, if I am comfortable, I'm pretty cool with people. However, I'm a loner of note. My own personal space is very important, but I believe that because I grant myself that alone time, that's the reason probably I've never been diagnosed with depression. I've never gone through very self-harming kind of things, because life can be rough, you know what I'm saying? And I'm generally a very cool-headed person and everything, and I think it's because I grant myself time to be alone. I do not compromise on that, because that is where my sanity comes. That's why I never have outbursts on people. I'm never moody. I can be quiet but not moody, because I know when to be by myself. Like, I know when to withdraw and just be by myself. When you have children, I think that makes it a bit difficult, unless they are older and you can explain so that they don't feel rejected. You know what I'm saying? Because I do pull away to just be by myself, and that keeps me very sane, very grounded, and everything like that. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the annoying things that you guys say when people say they do not want children. The first annoying thing that you guys, and I'm going to say you guys because I know there's someone watching this video today and who's said these things, okay? So if you're not one of them, okay, I apologize. But I've heard people say, oh, that's selfish. Not wanting to bring another human being on earth is selfish. And, you know, I read this quote somewhere. It says, okay, when I say I do not want children, people say I'm selfish. And then when I ask them why they want children, the sentence you just said, I want it. So you are saying you had a choice. It was a want that you had. You know what I'm saying? So you wanted to have children. So why should I not be granted the same opportunity to say I do not want children? You know, because as women, you know, I'm learning that, you know, society has put so much pressure on what a complete woman is. You know, and finding myself in my 40s where I'm doing the opposite. I'm realizing that, you know, there's this thing where you are seen as incomplete when you don't have children, when you don't have a husband. It's nothing to admire because your life is not quite, you know. I'm realizing that I'm actually becoming that aunt, you know, the aunt that people talk about in families. I can see myself being there because I am completely different from how I've seen life being run. You know, you know, people that I've admired who've done things very differently from me. You know what I'm saying? So being in my 40s and deciding that this is the kind of life that I want, I know there's people who look at it and be like, hi, why would you do that? You know, there's people who say annoying thing of saying, oh, you'll change your mind. This is rude, because what's rude about this? You're saying my decisions are invalid, and I cannot make proper decisions as a full-blown adult. By saying that, you're saying actually invalid. There is no way you're gonna change your mind. This is not a good enough thing to want to do, to not have children. You will change your mind. Look, life happens, you know. Yes, if I change my mind, can it be on me? Not because of society's pressure. You know what I'm saying? Because then I will regret. I will look at this child with so much regret and resentment, because this is not what I wanted. This is what I thought I wanted. Which also brings me to this thing that my desire to have children, was it something that was deep within because I was able to switch it so quickly? Or was it something that I knew, I was told that's something that I would want? You know what I'm saying? It's only when you grow you realize that you start wondering if something is what you want or it's something that you've been told you want, you should want, and everything like that. So do not tell people that they will change their mind. Let them change their mind. Or they'll say the day you meet the right person, you will change your mind. Those things happen, but it shouldn't be something that comes from somebody else telling me that I am going to change my mind just because I'm choosing a lifestyle that is different from what they have chosen. Okay, what is the other annoying thing that people say? Oh, people say it's going to catch up with you at old age. Who's going to look after you when you're older? I get it. I completely get it, because the older you get, the more help you need from family. You know, I mean, if I think of 2 years ago when I went for my fibroids operation, you know, my sister and her kids helped me quite a bit through that journey. So I get it, but I don't feel like it's enough reason to want to have children, to have someone who's going to look after you later, because life happens. The same children that you give birth to might have a different lifestyle later in life, move to a different country, or just not being interested in that kind of life. It happens. You bring people on earth who didn't go and say, guy, I'm not about you. Then what? You know what I'm saying? I would have spent all these years raising them. Then I'm going to come back at them and be like, I raised you. And they're going to tell me, I didn't ask to be Yeah, you know, and everything. So those are some of the things that I find are really annoying to people, and just that whole idea where people make women, and I know men as well, and who don't want children. Well, I've never really physically met them, but you know, you hear through things. And I believe for men, when they don't want children, there's a few things that I assume about you. They'll assume that you don't want children because you're not a responsible man, or you don't want children because you're still a player. And it could be neither. It could be neither one of them. Is that the right English? You know, when I come on video, my English bundles go out the window. Anyway, so those kind of things, you wonder if, you know. And then the same thing, when a man has a lot of children, we say that, you know, he's a player. So you can't really win. So it's better to just go with what works for you. And we need to respect each other where that is concerned. So yeah, I feel like the video was all over the place, and I think it's because I've already written a piece about this and I didn't want to copy and paste what I wrote about that, because I mean, you know, there's a different angle. So if you feel like you need more meaty reasons on one, I don't want children, you are welcome to check my blog. But I hope from this, me opening this topic, that you guys, especially if you're coming from a point where you feel that you don't understand why people don't want children, that you'll have more understanding. If you don't, it's fine, keep that to yourself. But I also want to talk to those who've made this decision, and having to explain themselves to others has become so difficult, you know, and draining. I want you to know you've got an ally, you've got someone who, you know, resonates with maybe your reasons, or your reason might be different. They might be even more personal or something like that, and something that you're not open to talk about. But yeah, the world has changed so much. There's more to us than just being mothers and wives and all of that kind of stuff, and we can still live very wholesome lives without having to fit any of those society titles. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. My name is TK Hlongwane, and please don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Share my stuff with other people so that this channel can grow and I can keep doing this, because the more you guys like, the more you guys speak about what I do, the more encouraging it is for me to bring quality content and to have these uncomfortable conversations, because I do believe that God has granted me the bravery, even sometimes I do it shaking, to speak about things that, you know, may be controversial or may be uncomfortable to talk about in our society. Anyway, until next time, I hope you're awesome and you will have the most beautiful day.